Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the European Technology Network. The day is Thursday, it's the 13th of November, 8 minutes past 11, starting slightly late, had a few technical difficulties. We actually have our first guest joining in 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
How do you want to play this, Luke? We have 2 minutes. Do you want to maybe rattle off who's coming on super quick today?
Well, let me just talk about Airwallex quickly. Leave outdated business banking behind. The all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business, multi-currency accounts, high-speed international transfers, corporate cards, expense management, and online payments, all in one platform. Go to airwallex.com.
Yeah, it's a pretty funky.
Funky.
I
It's also.
I left it at home accidentally.
Yeah. Anyway, we can do that. We have a ton of news going on today, but yeah, guests. So we have Andre De Hayes. He is coming on. He's founder of BackedVC. They've just announced their $100 million seed round. Not seed round, $100 million fund 3. Des Traynor, very big guest, co-founder of Intercom. It's going to be interesting to talk to him, of course. Incredible company. We're very excited to have him on. Lucas Ziegler, he is the founder of Bonanza and a venture partner at FF. It's going to be interesting to talk to him. He's met Jensen Huang before.
Yeah.
He is a big dog in the robotics industry and wants to make robotics companies more friendly-ish, I guess. Maxime Germain, he is the founder of Beside. They've just come out of stealth. They were doing 4 million in ARR with 20,000 paying customers in stealth, and they've just come out very
18
recently.
Months, 20 million Series A.
Which is mental. Is it backed by EQT?
EQT, yeah, and participation from Index in there. I think Index led their previous round, maybe the seed.
Cool.
But EQT led the A. Also, Saraj Gambhir, co-founder of Prior Labs, talking about their new model that they've released, the TabPFN-2.5. We're going to have Javier Palafox on, co-founder of Happy Robot, but he had an opportunity to increase shareholder value during the slot he was meant to come on. And here at the ETN show, if there is an opportunity to increase shareholder value,
go and do it. Go and do it.
It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the show, at the start of the show, at the end of the show. If you can increase shareholder value, drop everything to just...
But what's important is we are going to deep dive on a few bits. Specifically, I think we're going to deep dive on building in the application layer in Europe rather than building on the foundation layer in Europe. Partner at Axel recently came onto the FT, wrote a very good article. I think it was the FT, or maybe Sifted.
I think it was Sifted.
And he was basically saying the advantage of Europe is that we can build on the application layer. There isn't enough, other than kind of Mistral, we're not fighting that race, but the way that we stay in the air race and stay on top of it is building on the application layer, the Lovables, all of those lovely companies, Synthesia, really fighting the fight, which is cool. So we're going to talk about that. While we were meant to have Javier on, we will talk about that for the last 20 minutes of the show. So stay tuned, basically. But next guest, or first guest, we have Andre De Hayes. He should be coming on any minute now. Founder of BackedVC, closed $100 million seed fund to invest in Europe's generational founders with global ambitions. It's going to be wicked.
I think we might have Andre in the waiting room, just checking with the producer. Are we in? Oh, we're live. Are we live now? Yes, we are.
Andre, how's it going?
Excellent. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Welcome to the European Technology Network.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us. It's been
congratulations.
Yeah, I think maybe a quick round of applause. 100 M's in the bank. Where do we start?
We've got to go and do the real work now.
You have time to enjoy it though, no? Surely maybe a small bottle of champagne at least.
Totally. 3 hours.
The news has broke this morning, I think. Is it? Yeah. It's just come out this morning on Sifted. Can we hear? This isn't the first fund. This is fund number 3. can we maybe hear more about yourself, BackedVC in general, and then we can go on to hearing about maybe the previous funds and also
A bit better about like why you started BackedVC and what the plan is.
Totally, yeah. We started back in 2016. Alex and me, we were very old friends. We'd known each other. At the time it was about 16 years. Now it's 24 years, and we started it to build a community and an events platform rather than just a standard venture fund. So the idea was really, can we build a deep, engaged community of the very best frontier tech founders in the world and have them meet up regularly? We host 40 events a year, and then help each other, invest in each other. And so that was really the vision, was, create a community of founders that creates a flywheel. And so, now, it's coming up to a decade. We're 9 years in. We've done 100 deals. And a lot of the founders that we backed in the early days reinvest into the more recent founders. Interestingly, a lot of them have started investing into the fund too. So quite a lot of the LPs in our new fund were Fund 1 founders. So people like Francis Pedraza from Invisible Technologies, which is now a unicorn. And then most interestingly, a lot of them are now onto their second business. So in the last year, we re-backed 6 founders that we backed in Fund 1 and 2, and we're about to do a 7th. And what's crazy is that their new businesses scale so much more quickly.
Yeah.
Like one of them, we seeded a business called Zero Gravity last year. They've already done a token listing, like 1.6 billion valuation. It's like more than a 30x return in 12 months. Another company, by this guy, Pim DeWitt, we backed him when he was 23. On his first business, he just raised $130 million last month. But his second business, he raised $40 million, like 3 months after we did a seed round from Khosla. So It's just, it just goes much more quickly second time round. And so it's cool seeing this sort of flywheel start to work.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
so
And it's
cool.
kind of a game, I guess, starting your own fund, right? You've kind of got to stay alive, keep the lights on so you can get to that point, right? And do you feel like it's easier? Like what's your day-to-day looking like from when you first started? And where, I'm sure things have got easier. What's hard right now, basically?
Yes. So some things you go through lots of, mediocrity crisis where you're like, are we ever going to be good at this? And I definitely had years of that, because venture's such a long game. We actually organized an event recently for the 10 top GPs in Europe and top 30 LPs called The Long Game, because it is such a long game. And so certain things get easier, but other things get harder. What gets easier is that, you build trust and you build relationships, and that all compounds, right? So, we went in 2016 from nobody knowing us to now having most of the top institutional fund of funds as LPs. So, we had 10 top fund of funds come into Back 3. The reality is that sort of sounds good. Most of those people, I met 6-7 years ago, and it took 6 years of Alex and I updating them for them to finally come in. And I remember how despondent I felt when I met people as I was raising Backed 1, and they would tell Alex and me, they'd say, you're a bit too early, but maybe by vintage 3 or 4. I was like, that's going to be years away. I don't even know if I'll be alive by then. And now you just get used to the fact that you need to be patient and that you need to get up every day and have like a 9 out of 10 day. And it's about consistency, and it's about putting in hours and initiatives and habits that build and breed consistency, trust, performance. And funnily enough, you get rewarded with like an outlier outcome once. So all the inputs in venture are about consistency and habits, and the outputs are about power law returns. It's this funny game where, there's a dislocation between inputs and outputs. So what's got easier is just knowing, how to run the business, how to source the best founders, and knowing what a good deal looks like. Like, what does a generational founder look like? At the beginning, you're kind of impressed by everyone that's come out of Google and that has a PhD from Cambridge. And then over time, you become much much more discerning about what real excellence looks like. What's become much harder is stakeholder management. We've now got 80 LPs. We've got 100 founding teams to look after. We see 8,000 deals a year. It's really hard to manage your time and give a white glove service to everybody. And that's where we've had to build a lot more in the way of team structure, systems. So, at the beginning, it was just Alex and me running around, in this sort of like fascinating intellectual playground that is like startup land. And we could sort of hustle our way into things. And over time, you need to build structure. I think the other thing that's got, much harder is that you're only as good as your next year, and you're only as good as the current competitive landscape. And, back in 2016, there were very few venture funds in Europe and very few that were top tier, and now you're going head to head with a lot of, US funds. So, the last few deals that we did, they also had term sheets from funds like Sequoia and Lightspeed and Founders Fund. And so you're competing just against a different quality. And so kind of trying to consistently win those deals. And so that's why we really stay attuned to win rate. And we've had a 97% win rate since inception. So over the 100 deals.
Pretty high.
But the reality is that that's backward looking. And if next year, we don't win, 10 out of 10 deals, and we actually win only 5 out of 10, then we've lost our mojo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there is a real risk of that, right? There's like brilliant people out there. So, looking back doesn't help you unless you're going to keep consistently winning deals.
Yeah, there's always that risk in venture where, I've read an article about Roelof Botha and obviously leaving Sequoia or stepping down, and they were saying that Sequoia's kind of differentiator is the fact that they are this kind of steady ship that will always kind of provide this value, right? And any kind of change in that will lose their edge, and therefore that's then just this minor detail, I guess, because they're still going to have two amazing stewards running the show, but it's that kind of minor detail that changes their edge, and therefore, I guess less founders will choose their term sheet over another. How do you kind of navigate that? Because obviously that is literally a pressure every single day. Do you just have to kind of bottle that up, or do you how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I think there's some really interesting things in your question, right? There's the question around what drives excellence, and does excellence come from consistency of brand and offering, and you gave the Sequoia offer, the example, or does it come from innovation? And then there's the point around, pressure, and how do you deal with, stress? So on the consistency thing, venture's a really funny game, as you guys know better than I do, in that on the one hand, it's an access class, not an asset class. And so getting access to the very best founders, your brand does count for a lot, right? As a hedge fund investing in public stuff, everyone has the same access, right? And so it's really about the edge of your ideas. But it's less about the edge of your access. In venture, it's the edge of your access, right? So it's, can you get in front of the very best founders, and do they want to work with your brand? And so there's a funny high predictability of ongoing returns, because a brand, like Sequoia's or, those sorts of top brands, they do become self-reinforcing sort of mechanisms. Conversely, how you access those founders changes all the time. And, my old firm, Andreessen Horowitz, came in and blew up the ecosystem by being the first to launch large scale content, the first to launch a huge offering for founders to support them with M&A, with talent acquisition. So when I was, when I was doing a brief stint at Andreessen, there were 10 people on the investment team, and there were 130 on portfolio support. So that's where you do need to keep innovating. To your question around stress, I think there's nothing special about venture. It's the same for founders, and probably even tougher, because there's always the risk of running out of runway. But it's also the same for an artist that needs to get up every day and perform, or an athlete that needs to get up, or a doctor that needs to be like on call every day in an emergency ward. And so it's really about attuning to stress and seeing things in perspective. And the reality is, when a company blows up, what matters less is you losing your money. What matters more is do you do right by that founder on a human level and really make the right long-term decisions such that they want to work with you again. And do you help them? Because it matters if they've worked on something for 8 years and their company's going under, rather than you being selfish and thinking, I've lost my money, let's give them a hard time. You thinking like they've just had a really tough personal journey. And they're starting again from zero. And there's like so much, there's so much of their identity wrapped up into that company. How can I help them navigate through it and do right by them? So I think it's about taking perspective and realizing that, your stress is not as great as somebody else's.
Yeah, that was a good segue into a question I wanted to ask earlier. But like, you mentioned that, which is crazy, that you guys you've re-backed some of the guys in Fund One. They've probably learned a lot from whether it was a success or a failure. What have you seen? Like, have you seen changes in these individuals, like going from their first company to their second? Are they doing something leaner? Are they raising more? Are they deciding to raise less? Like, is there a pattern or anything? I'm really interested to.
Yeah, massive changes. The very best founders are the most adaptable, right? Like what defines a brilliant founder? One of them is like an absolutely astonishing ability to adopt different roles rapidly, because the hustle that it takes to start a seed stage company is a rampantly different role to managing, a mid-sized 50 to 100 person company, where you have a lot of direct reports. And that's a radically different role to managing like 1,000 people, and having to speak to late stage, growth and hedge fund investors and manage offices across the globe. So, you develop that adaptability. They all come away. I think the biggest thing they've learned is radical delegation, like get yourself out of being the bottleneck. The second is how to really empower a team and build a performance culture. If you're able to attract the very, very best people, that's so empowering. I think a third is all around narrative storytelling. And you just get much better at creating momentum. And so a lot of our best founders get much more efficient at creating like fundraising momentum. So they raise bigger rounds off the bat. We backed a company, for example, called Airska. Jack O'Meara, his first company, Oka Bio, will probably be one of the first sort of computational bio unicorns in Europe. But his second company, Airska, we did a seed round, and within 3 months he'd raised a bigger round. So he had two rounds of seed funding that totaled 25 million within 3 months of launch. And so, that was just normally it would take you 4 years to raise 25 million. So that speed changed radically. And then I think the very most important change, is a funny one. It's a change of the level of ambition. So when we backed a company called CoMind, and CoMind just announced in our last fund. James was 19 when he raised that, when he launched that business. CoMind just raised $100 million last month. It was in the FT, and they're doing a very cool company. They're the first company to do non-invasive brain monitoring devices that allow you to see all the vitals in someone's brain when they're having a stroke or they come in from an accident. But his next business, Flux, is literally taking on NVIDIA head on with a completely different paradigm. They're building semiconductor chips, and I won't sort of reveal too much, but with a completely different paradigm to NVIDIA. So it's like, taking on the biggest company in the world, like that's the sort of audacity that we look for. And second time founders that have already had success are like, I don't want to just make $100 million. I want to build a generational company that changes the world.
Sorry to jump in, but there's another point there, like all these companies that you're describing seem to be doing like great things, great missions, high impact. I'm not sure if you saw recently, but there was a company that came out of YC called like Chad IDE. That was essentially like it's an IDE within like your coding tool or whatever that can it allows you to like scroll TikTok or play Clash of Clans, or it's basically like brain rot pop-up window as your coding agent is like carrying out all your work. And like there was a lot of controversy around the fact that YC had backed it because it was essentially just like, I mean, it was very clear there was no value there in terms of what that company was about, right? It was literally a small TikTok window on your coding agent. It started a debate around mission and like whether founders should be building stuff like that. Like, I guess there's an argument for maybe they just want to go after money. But to see like an institution backing them and supporting them, people were arguing that it kind of maybe acts as like an anti-signal to raise money from those individuals. I'd love to hear your thoughts on just that in general, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, every human has a right to define their own mission, right? And then there's a question of like, there's a question of sort of ethics around, are there certain things that, one should back or not? And then there's a question of like, are people spending their time on the right things? So I'm not going to judge, founders for building certain companies. We are going to be incredibly discerning about what we back, and we would never touch something that doesn't have like huge societal potential value. So what we're interested in backing is companies that have made a fundamental technological or conceptual breakthrough, operating in huge markets where if that company works, it changes one of the three industries that we focus in, right? So it changes healthcare, biggest industry in the world, or it changes manufacturing, or it changes, the financial sector. Yeah. And by change, we don't mean like this is, something that, this is a drug that serves a few people. We mean that you go after one of the big disease types, like a major area of cancer or Alzheimer's or liver disease, and you build like the company that solves that area. If you're doing something in manufacturing, you go after a big space like semiconductor manufacturing, and you fundamentally change how semiconductor manufacturing gets done. So that's the level of ambition that to us is interesting, because that way, you have a healthy shot at building a $10 billion company, and you have a shot at building, $100 billion to $1 trillion company, right? And there aren't any of those yet in Europe. There's no $1 trillion tech company, but there are a few in the US, and they will come, and there are companies like Spotify and Adyen that are sort of, making their way up. And like to Alex and me and, to our team, that's what motivates us is, can we find the company that 50 years from now is going to be enduring and having the level of impact that Google is having?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's
amazing
super like interesting to know if you like. I'm excited to kind of follow you guys on this Fund3 journey because I'm bullish.
Yeah, we are fresh out of time, unfortunately, Andre. But again, congratulations! Thank you for spending time with us on the show. That was an awesome conversation.
So interesting.
Yeah, thanks so much. It was fun.
Cheers, guys.
Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
Bye.
I think right away we've actually got Des, founder of Intercom, in the waiting room coming in.
In the waiting room.
It is a big moment. Whilst we're waiting for Des to come in, let me tell you about our friends over there at Airwallex. You've got to leave outdated business banking behind. It's the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern businesses. You can do multi-currency accounts, high-speed international transfers, corporate cards, expense management, and online payments all in one platform. Anyway,
Des, how's it going?
What an absolute pleasure, Des. Thank you so much for joining us. It's an honor to have you on the show. We have so many questions that we want to get started straight away with, but maybe for the viewers and the listeners out there who might not know who you are, could you maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and the company Intercom, please?
Entirely separately to the Intercom platform as well. It's at Fin.ai, and Fin is the AI agent that does your customer support for you. It handles about 66% of your entire support volume. We've got 7,000 customers, and Finn is going through all that crazy AI growth that you're used to seeing, all those batshit charts and stuff. That's Finn is one of those.
That's you guys.
That's nuts. I mean, because I've heard
The story is awesome. By
the
the way.
story is so cool.
Yeah, can we have a brief summary of the story? Obviously, we've read stuff, but it would be great to hear it from you. Oh,
yeah. Like,
the
that
reaction
pivots.
from when ChatGPT launched in whatever 2022.
Generational.
Yeah, awesome. We've just had some word from our producer that you have no audio on the stream, so we had that story, which is awesome. We might have to do a redo. Let's just give
Just checking with our producer.
checking. We apologise.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you just talk and we'll see if it's all good.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm here, Finn, etc.
We're unfortunately going to have to ask you to answer that question again because I want the viewers.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, we're good.
Am I okay now?
Yeah.
I think so.
Reload
Okay,
it.
so
Checking with the producer. Are we good?
Yeah.
I think we're good. Let's reload.
So it was obviously on your side. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's all
I'm
bad.
happy to go from the start again. No problem. Whatever works for you.
Just the story of Finn, because like we love it. We've heard it from other people. We've had it from Universe now, but for the viewers and the listeners at home, the pivot is generational, right? Like for a company of Intercom size to do something like that and then crush it as well is just nuts.
Reload it.
Yeah, so I mean, we're a 1,000 person company, give or take, and we're coming up to the 3-year anniversary of ChatGPT launch day. I think it was like November 29th, or maybe November 30th, 2022. And I got a Slack message from Fergal at the time. I think he was like our director of AI. Today, he's our chief AI officer, so the years of being kind to him. And he was like, "Yo, you need to look at this." And I clicked in. And, at the time, we didn't really know how to engage with AI. So you're just asking it kind of questions that you could have Googled. But then you realize it's got a bit more about it. So you start asking it sort of pointier questions, and it's doing a good job. At the time, I was asking like soccer questions, like just bizarre, like just so hard to research and hard to Google type things, and I was getting them mostly right. Then I asked it how do you install Intercom on a mobile app, which was a classic support question we get, and it was like, "Bing, 6 seconds, perfect answer." And I was like, "Wow, okay." That was the moment where I was like, I don't think customer support is ever going to be the same again. And you have to bear in mind, our business is like we sell seats to humans to sit in to do customer support. If the AI is doing the customer support, we don't have a business anymore. So that's the world that we're up against. That's the risk that we're in. So I spoke with Kieran, our CTO, texted me as well. Then I spoke with Owen on Friday. Owen's our CEO. And I think the thing that I look back on most is the CEO is willing to make it kind of an aggressive and risky decision. Like I think that it's very, very easy to sort of say, why don't you carve off a 2-person team and do a little experiment or a little like prototype or have a hackathon or something. But that's nowhere near enough. Like when you get these ideas, it really is like a kind of burn the boats moment. You have to kind of go all in. So Monday morning we had a kind of an internal all hands type thing with our few folks in product, and we're like, here's the opportunity, rip up the roadmap, build an org, let's go.
That's
and
mental.
we went hard. 4 weeks later, we had our first features live on the Intercom platform, and then by March 2023, which was maybe like 12 weeks later, I guess, with Christmas in between. We basically had the first version of Finn live. We launched it on GPT-4 launch day, and I think we were the first AI agent in production. These days, Finn, as I said, is doing like 66% of your total volume. We charge $1 per resolution. Finn's handling a million resolutions a week. It's things are going well. So yeah,
that's very cool. It's crazy because when you're a CEO, you have to obviously make those kind of huge decisions all the time. And I remember when ChatGPT came out, it was just like an obvious like thing that this thing is going to change consumers' behavior, but also like enterprise for forever.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like you talk to other people in your situation, other companies or other people that are running companies in the same scale and same size. What was their take? Because for you guys, it's quite rare, especially as the size of the org you were. Did you see other companies kind of lose out on this and be like, no, I think it's only, it's going to be okay. We're going to like stay on our roadmap. And you were like, obviously rip up the rule book. What was that like? Just like taking that away and just focusing on your journey?
I think there's a few things we noticed with other companies. One, like we were kind of lucky how existential AI was to CS, that it didn't really give us much of a choice. Like it was very obviously an immediate killer. And we had to build a product that would be like cannibalistic to our existing business to survive. So I think people often say companies only change through inspiration or desperation. I think there was kind of a mix of both for us. I think the people who struggled most were like in a type of a monopoly, super comfortable, and they would basically like they'd be kind of asleep at the cash register. So they see AI and they're like, that's cool. We should start building a little like a little co-pilot over here. And it was very much incumbent thinking. It was like, oh, here's a new bit of tech. How can we use this? Like as if they found a new JavaScript library or something like that. So I think there's like a tendency to just see how do you keep your existing plans the same and just roll in a sprinkling of AI, a few sparkly buttons here and there. I think the behavior you notice is people will tolerate, like it's very, very painful to rip up the company, to reorg, to change the roadmap, to go all in on a new area that didn't exist last week or whatever, right? It's extremely painful. And I think you have to be willing to tolerate the extremely high acute one-time pain because it's, the big picture is even though that's horrible, it's much better than a long chronic pain that will slowly seed your destruction over time.
Yeah.
But a lot of companies consistently make this decision to prefer a long, slow death over a short burst of pain to make a change. And I think that's like the folks who aren't willing to take that little bit of pain to tell people, hey, other stuff, like people didn't realize at the time you have to build software differently with AI. It's not the same old software development lifecycle. You don't go customer research and then design and then engineering's at the end and then a big QA. It's nearly back to front. You have to, with AI, you have to build it totally differently. That means we have to go around like rip up. And Intercom was famous for how we built software. We were so like prolific and like productive, but we had to rip it all up and kind of reimagine basically how everything in Better Company works. People were pissed off. Not everyone liked it, of course, but like ultimately the bigger picture is like survive.
Yeah,
definitely.
Did you have like kind of linked to the previous question, but did you have people reach out to you after like, hey, we probably should have done that? Can you kind of tell us how you did that? Because it's probably one of the more like modern sort of like crazy moments for like an Intercom to just shift everything into, I say overnight, obviously it's not overnight, but like it's
pretty
quick,
close,
right?
yeah.
It's quick for the size. So did you have people reach out like, hey, we should probably be thinking about doing this. How did you do that so quickly and so well?
Yeah, a lot of, here's an interesting thing I've just observed. A lot of people ask some version of the question of, we need to do it too. How do we do it, right? And what I notice is everyone's good at doing the following. Hey, AI's here, guys. Let's have a little hackathon. We're going to do some lovable stuff, some V0, bit of Claude code, build out some little fun prototypes, and then we'll all present at a big show and tell. And we'll be like, yay, we're now an AI company, and update the marketing page to say we're AI first. Happy days, right? That's the easy, pain-free way to pretend that you're doing AI, right? And you're playing in your little sandbox and you feel great about it all. I find like a couple of initiatives we rolled out that haven't been like as like warmly welcomed, but I think have been ultimately good. Like in our design org, we basically said, Emmett said like, hey, every designer needs to ship to production by August 1st of this year. And everyone did. But like we had to say it like that, because otherwise people don't necessarily randomly bring that chaos into their life. So and then Dara, who's our CTO, said, hey, we're going to fight to double productivity. This initiative he has called 2X using AI engineering. We basically are going to make this a part of performance and all how we think about engineering, how we plan our projects. We're going to factor in AI from the start, and that's what we need to do to basically hit the level of productivity that we should be able to hit. Now, when I tell these stories to other companies, what I realize is the real anxiety here is that they're afraid to say the unpopular thing. And that's the thing I notice most. They're afraid to say, hey, we are doing this. It's not an option. It's now an expectation. And let's get going. Yeah. And I think a lot of cultures over the last maybe 5-10 years got to a point where they were so soft that like I think the exec team has potentially lost a mandate to say let's make things happen. And I think that's where things don't happen unless people say let's make things happen. So So you really need to want the pain, in some sense. Yeah, like, in NBA terms, they say you have to want the smoke, but there's a genuine, like, if you really fully understand what's going on, here's your options. Either you correct your company or the market corrects you.
Yeah.
That's it. And so it is like, we use the phrase adapt or die a lot, because that's honestly how we feel. There's like, you can have all the great narratives and talk about how great we are that we managed to do all this without, breaking any eggs or whatever, but like, it's not an option. It really isn't.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys are definitely the people to say that for sure. I want to touch on Fin3 and the launch and the new product features. Can you give us a rundown, and then we can kind of deep dive on that?
Yeah, sure. So our third major release of Fin, we had it like just a couple of weeks ago in New York. Basically, when we launched Fin 1, if you like, was just like, hey, look, it works. It can do a good chunk of your support. And then Fin 2 was like, now you can configure it and customize it to your business. And Fin 3 is about now it can do all of your support. So it can do like everything from like all channels. Fin works over voice, WhatsApp, SMS, email, Messenger, whatever, Zendesk Messenger, Salesforce Messenger, anywhere you want Fin, you can have Fin. And then also Fin can handle extremely complicated queries. So what I mean by that is, like, a lot of people think that chatbots are good for, like, how do I reset my password? Oh, you go to /reset password, right? That they are, of course, good for that, but that's not a big challenge. The challenge is when you get into things like, hey, I'm after booking 2 different tickets and I need to cancel one, but I need to take the seats from the other and change the name of this, or I need to reroute my flight, or I need a refund because I signed up for a personal plan on my personal account and an enterprise plan on my work account. Can you merge the 2 files together? Like, that's the messy stuff that people have to do in support. And like, when we say like the average resolution rate for Fin is like 66% or so, what's happening with the rest? Well, what's happening with the rest is often that they're just messy, gnarly queries. So we built this feature called procedures, where you can write out in plain English, here's how you'd go about solving that problem. And you can say, well, the first thing we do is we check this data source and see, do they indeed have 2 accounts? Second thing is, are they the account owner? Third thing is, we'd ping the account team to check that there are files in both. Fourth would do the merge. Fifth, 5 would reply to the customer. But you can kind of basically explain in natural language how to handle every type of support query. And what our goal for that is to basically say that your human support team should now be handling things for the first time, as in, we've never seen it before. That's why Fin couldn't do it, but also the last time. So once we do it, we should create a procedure around it, and then it should never be seen by a human again. So that's really what we're shooting for with Fin 3. The other big announcement we had, I'm sure you saw, was this idea of Fin being a customer agent. So not just doing support anymore, but Fin breaking out of its box. In this sort of era of AI convergence, this is happening in a lot of different ways, but we see Fin as being like the expert on exactly how your company works. So of course, Fin should be able to handle your sales inbound queries. It should be able to do customer success for you. It should be able to do retention, onboarding, upsell, any other type. If you're an e-commerce company, it should be able to help you buy. Yeah, so we really want Fin to be just the customer agent, the person you go to who can solve all your problems.
Damn, that's so nuts. Maybe one more question, just as we come to time. I'd love to just get your general views, European tech, AI landscape. I know you do some angel investing as well when you get the time. And if you can, like, a little bit about Ireland as well. Like, what's the tech scene like there at the moment? I mean, who did we have on?
We spoke to Liam Fuller. Do you know Liam Fuller?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we spoke to him. Obviously, awesome guy, and
one of my favorite conversations we've ever had.
So yeah, I think just like, temperature check on Ireland, but also like European tech as well.
Yeah,
I mean, on Ireland specifically, like, we're kind of known more for like the Intercoms or the Stripes, or companies like Tynes or whatever, which all fall into a bucket of like Irish founders who ultimately probably do the Delaware Incorporated American thing, but still employ a large amount of tech in Ireland. There are a few novel Irish startups coming along, just like Protex, who do AI for CCTV to detect any sort of dangers happening in factories or warehouses or whatever. There's like, Nori is a cool, like, sort of AI enabled, like, kitchen management thing for restaurants. There's probably, I would guess, for our size, bear in mind, Dublin's like 1 million people, Ireland's like 4 million people. You have to factor all these things relatively. I think per capita, we're probably bang average, maybe a little bit above average. But you have to factor that Stripe is really a Californian company, and so is Intercom, etc. But yeah, I think in general, Ireland's doing okay. We have some really good initiatives in the form of like Dogpatch, and which are these like labs where they bring together young talent and hope that they can create ideas. more generally in Europe, I actually think we're doing well in the AI space. Honestly, I am. Like when people ask me, like, name some really, really great AI startups that aren't like, I don't think we're doing great maybe at the model layer bar, like maybe Mistral. But when people say name a great AI application, your mind goes to like, depending, like I'll leave it aside because I don't want to promote myself any further, but like a lovable fixer, I don't know, granola, Synthesia. I'm like, right, most of these are all European startups, these aren't like your classic like Bay Area, like, FiDi in San Francisco type startups. A lot of them are like doing quite well and having real breakout moments. Like you can even go to Dust or N8N or any, like there's so many of these companies that are doing great out of Europe. So I think we're doing quite well at the application layer. And I think we've probably, if we're honest, just missed the model layer. Like Mistral are doing really well, but like they're the only one realistically. And I think what we're seeing is that California duke it out with China at that space. But at the app layer, I think we did okay in SaaS. I think we're starting out really strong the AI application layer. And I think there's a lot more to come too. So I do feel like a good degree of excitement for Europe at the app layer for AI. And I think we should feel that positivity. The next challenge for the content in a sense is like, either do we want to keep these companies, which I think is not, people all autocomplete to yes, of course we want to keep these companies in Europe, but I actually think, no, we want them to be global companies. So that might be actors go to Hollywood, financiers go to Wall Street, maybe tech just goes to California, maybe that's okay. But if they keep employing people and building out superstar teams over in Europe, that will beget more startups and more startups. And I think that's how you get a great tech ecosystem.
Yeah, definitely. We're actually going to talk about this at the end of the show. An article came out recently, I think it was actually yesterday, that an Axel partner, basically said that we're doing so well in the application layer, exactly what you just said. So super interesting that you had that same insight as well. Because it's obvious, you listed those companies, like we are winning, and that's potentially how I guess we win this, or we have our part in the AI race, and it is the application layer, not the, because you can see that the size differences between Mistral and what they're investing and what governments are investing into them compared to say, the Anthropics and the OpenAIs. It's
a different order for sure.
Exactly.
But the app layer means that we are firmly relevant in this AI case, which wasn't a guarantee. And I don't think it's the result of any EU initiative or government initiative. I think it's just Europe has always had really smart people. And we saw an opportunity as citizens of Tech Europe, if you like. The opportunity was there, and lots of great companies grabbed it with both hands.
Yeah, definitely. Seriously bullish.
100%.
Look, amazing to have you on. Thank you so much for the time.
Cool.
And
thanks so much, guys. Excited to be here.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor. There's open seats. Come back anytime.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Great to meet you.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye.
Very cool. Yeah, it's so mad that you can see a company of that size pivot so fluidly.
Has there been a book written about?
And I don't know, maybe
I feel like that's
maybe we should write one. Maybe we should write a book.
Like Matt Clifford, that was a capable moment. That's a book moment right there.
Yeah. Oh, modern Netflix original.
Fine. Or Twitter
with Chris Pratt maybe playing Des. You'd watch it if it had Chris Pratt in it. You love Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Chris Pratt's the boy.
Let me tell you about our friends ACI.dev. It's the open source middleware to control, govern, and observe AI access to your tools, and also data. Don't forget about the data.
And these guys as well. Just to drop them in there.
Dude,
I wanted to talk about, now we've got 6 minutes until the next guest comes on, Lucas Ziegler. I wanted to talk about what Lightspeed have just launched. I don't know if we can get it up on the screen.
Don't get me started.
Mr. Michael Magnano, he should hopefully come on. We'll see. Okay, I think we're on the screen. So I'm going to read this out and then we can chat about it. I think the other one is on here as well, so we'll chat about that too. When AI took off a few years ago, I launched a podcast. Typical VC move to talk to the people building all the coolest stuff. It was fun and I learned a lot, but I quickly realized every tech podcast looks the same, including mine, and I got bored. Then I got inspired by new formats like TabPFN, hopefully us as well, Indie VC, and tested a few episodes where I got out of the office and out in the real world and ditched the prep materials. It was a lot more fun and the viewers seemed to like it too. So today we're launching a new show dedicated to just that. No office, no Zoom, no filter. It's called Out of Office. The first episode featuring my good friend Casey drops on Tuesday. It's a good hang. Subscribe below.
I'm so bullish.
60K views. I'm so bullish. Our
So
friends over at
bullish.
Lightspeed, we love them. They're so good. And I think having Casey Neistat on the first episode is awesome. He also recently went on TBPN.
Sets the bar crazy high, right?
Yeah.
Amazing guest. I think the cool thing about this is
I think the cool thing about this is that it's a VC firm doing this. It's cool.
literally that. It is a VC. It is the second.
It's an A16Z type play,
yes,
right?
Yeah, it's the second solid, respectable VC firm to embrace new media format with open arms and do it well. They've obviously got some they're getting some good creative direction, guests are high caliber. The way it's being presented, like X, they're on the right channel. It's very reminiscent of some early elements of this new.
Well, it's more casual.
Yeah, but it's
clearly
just,
becoming more casual, and you can see it with even Stripe's cheeky pint.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
casual, right? You have a pint, you sit down, have a pint with people, and
But it's also it's a company embracing media again. Another example of new media. We will be seeing the dominoes are starting to fall. For those who can see it, I think are very excited about it. And this is just another example of embracing it. It's like
it's just how you win, right? But at the moment, it's like how you win is just being simple. This episode sat in a what looks like an Asian restaurant, I think, or some form of cafe, and it's super chill. There's no heavy mics, there's no big lights. You're using the lights from the kind of top to just there's nothing special about it, right?
Yeah.
But that's what makes it special.
Yeah. It's casual, it's chill,
and it fits perfect Casey Neistat vibe, right? Where it's I feel like he kind of pioneered that in the YouTube space, where it wasn't you have to have a massive camera and you have to do this and do that. It's all about, he used the bare minimum. Would scratch his laptops, would it wouldn't really matter the cinematography, but it was that human feel. And that's probably how he was able to carry on for however many days he did, was because it was such a low bar.
Yeah.
But that's what made it really special.
He just had great creative taste.
Yeah.
Right?
And so they've probably
were really good.
gone to Casey and pitched this idea and said, hey, look, we can do this for podcasting, where it's low, not low budget, but low high quality, but kind of casual quality.
Yeah. I hear you. No, I think it's a great thing. I think that this is the first domino of many. I think that
but where else are people going to go because casual is easy to replicate.
Well, I mean, just generally VCs and venture teams embracing media formats, right? I think if we fast forward 3 or 4 years from now, every VC team will have a medium production team that can, which is most of them, because they all have loads of money.
Yeah.
It will become the norm, right? In the same way that, who did we have on the other day? The general partner at Speed Invest, Andreas, when we were asking him the question, how are you staying competitive when you're competing with other VCs on deals, right? Initially, it's we have a lot of money, so we attract the founder and we can invest in them. Then we have verticalized partners that focus on a specific industry, and then you're adding we can help you with your launch videos.
Yeah.
We can help you with this will become another
in-house content, because at the moment it's in-house PR. They obviously have communication teams. It's that next step. What's the next step for them?
And that kind of works. The comms teams will usually help you with trying to get your
They're
first
still relevant.
launch.
They're still relevant.
They know, of course, but in terms of the way that they interact with companies, it's more let's get you off the ground, and then we're still here, but let's just get you off the ground type of thing. That's when they're super involved. But this will become, this intersection of media, venture, tech, I think will become the norm for most leading VCs that can do it, just to stay competitive, right? If your competitors are doing it, there needs to be at least a thought to think should we be doing it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But exactly. I think it's great. I think it's a great thing, and congrats to Michael and the Lightspeed team for embracing this format.
We love it.
And doing it well as well.
Exactly. exactly.
She's great stuff. We'd love to see her.
So next on the show we have Lucas Ziegler. He is a robotics evangelist. Super duper interesting. Just getting us off the screen. Are we good? Super interesting to talk to him. I think it's going to be cool because the guys met like Jensen Huang. He's done some pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, he got a video with Jensen saying like, "May the robots be with you." It's really funny.
And he's doing a ton of things as well, which is cool.
Yeah,
here
chief
he is.
evangelist at Nanza, venture partner at FF Venture Capital, and a venture scout for First Momentum Ventures.
Are we,
just checking with our producer if we are live?
Video.
Because can we get you to join? There should be 2 links in the
description of
the description. Sorry, ignore the Google Meet. In the meeting notes, there'll be 2 links. Can you hit them both? Just checking with our producer. Maybe can you leave and rejoin and just click the 2 links in the meeting notes? Sorry. Thank you, man. Bear with us, our lovely friends at home. We are
just a moment for Airwallex. Leave outdated business banking behind. The all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business, multi-currency accounts, high-speed international transfers, corporate cards, expense management, and online payments, all in one platform. Go to airwallex.com. Let's go.
Let's go. So
Airwallex, the boys at Airwallex, they are killing it, and girls obviously, but yeah.
It's so awesome. There.
Is this the white version?
Of what's his name?
I quite like this version. What's
his name? What's his name? The McLaren driver.
Lando Norris.
Yeah, Lando Norris. Their drawing of Lando Norris that they have in that office is sick.
Yeah, so they just moved into a new office. They're pretty awesome.
It's a beautiful place.
Just
near
off
Tottenham
Oxford
Court
Street.
Road in London. Just an absolutely stunning studio. They've also got like a racing simulator. You know, like the chair. Yeah, it's just like the inside of being in a car, basically. But really cool, really cool.
Do we
just
have
checking if we got
Lucas
Lucas
on?
coming back in?
I think it's probably easier to see it.
You,
I'm just
I can't believe I
switching
forgot my
around.
bucket hat. I'm actually super devoted.
I'm just switching it around. It looks good there. It looks good.
Yeah,
I
it
like
looks
it.
really good.
I like it. Just wait for the McLaren F1 car.
Yeah.
Just right there. It's going to be wicked.
Lucas is back with us. Do we have him live? We are
No video.
experiencing some difficulties. Sorry, Lucas. We're not sure.
Lucas, have you joined both links?
Yeah, we're the same. We can see you, we can hear you, but for some reason we're just having a
Our
problem.
producer is having
getting
trouble
it
just
onto-
getting in. This isn't quite the same as deep tech.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
this must be more simpler, right? That's very kind of you to say, I'm sure. We may try one more time. Can we just try to go through? It's the video and the Riverside link. Thank you, Lucas. We appreciate that, mate. Sorry, folks at home, having some technical difficulties trying to get Lucas Ziegler in, but whilst we're waiting for him, let me tell you about our friends over there at Fora. It's the workspace to make your everyday extraordinary. Premium, flexible workplaces that drive performance, productivity, and well-being. It's the best place to be surrounded by greatness and rub shoulders with some of the world's most exciting companies. That's Fora. Go to Fora to get your luxury office space today. I used to work in a Fora, currently work in a Fora. It's a great place to work. They have great suites. They do great coffee. But
They do great sweets as well.
I said that.
Oh, sorry. I was just trying
No,
to.
please, mate.
I was just trying to fill the silence. You know?
No, please. You're doing a good job feeding into the amazing work that Fora are doing over there.
Chief evangelist at Bonanza.
I want to
Venture
know
partner at
specifically
FF
what
Venture
Bonanza
Capital.
is. I was
And
doing
a
some
venture
research
scout
on
for
it.
first. The guy must have no time.
I know, yeah. When we announced it, like, I couldn't fit it all on the guesting out. Like, we had to edit the text box for the guest to make it larger to fit all his roles in. All the stuff he was doing. Just gonna check with our producer. What do we know what the problem is, or we might be
Lucas
good.
Seigler is in. We can see you.
I think we might be good.
We're working on it.
It's
We'll
just-
go 5 minutes over if you have the time. Is that right? Okay, awesome.
Dude,
Because we've got
actually-
10 minutes between each guest, so
slot.
we can eat into that.
I think
Um,
I don't know.
I think it might be a problem
good.
on our side.
It must be us, because if you're joining the links, I mean that is the only thing that you need to do, right? So we're just
Super weird.
checking.
Hey, the problem with Showbiz.
We love that. Yeah. Okay, Lucas,
All
you
good,
grab
all
the
good.
espresso. We'll try and sort the technical difficulties over
Perfect
on our
European
end.
fashion.
Yeah, good to get a little espresso. We've got our iced Americanos today. I'm actually not loving mine, to be quite honest with you. I appreciate you getting it me though,
You
obviously.
don't have to drink them.
No, like, I appreciate the sentiment. Appreciate you getting it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just not enjoying it. I just thought I'd let you know.
While we're waiting, let's show a few more gifts that we got from Airwallex yesterday.
These are Airwallex socks.
Airwallex X McLaren socks.
Official partner of McLaren Formula One team. One size fits most. And then also an Arsenal cap with Airwallex on the back. Just there. You can
Sponsoring
see,
all sorts.
if you can see that, which is
I'm gonna leave them there.
it's a really kind gift from our friends over there at Airwallex. Maybe we can put the Arsenal cap
Some serious problem going on.
on here?
This is. I apologise to all the viewers. We are experiencing serious.
Yeah, we just
difficulty.
can't seem to make this work for some reason, which is
This is
really
not good.
unfortunate. Did you get your espresso, Lucas? Ah, there it is. No. This is our technical
This is our fault.
difficulty, not yours. We're doing everything we can to solve it, to try and understand what it is and why it's happening. But we're struggling to work out what the specific problem is, and our viewers at home are probably, a different browser. Oh,
Can you try? What browser are you using?
can we?
Using
I mean,
Chrome.
surely Chrome's fine. I'm on Chrome.
We're all on Chrome.
Everyone's on
Who
Chrome.
uses Safari? No. I don't think
Safari.
because the
Does that work?
chance of all of our guests having used Safari and you're the only one is like
Yeah.
super low.
It must be something on our end. I'm just trying to think of the best way to solve this. I'm wondering, can our viewers hear Lucas? They can't hear him or see him. No. Okay. God, sorry to the viewers at home as well. Probably just sat here watching Luke and I scramble, but we can see Lucas and we can hear him and we can talk to him. We're having a great time over here, but unfortunately, our viewers at home are the ones bearing the brunt of this technical difficulty.
It's very strange. Very strange.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
still not good.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Popping
what
up. This is weird.
the problem is.
Let me see if
What might be... I'm just thinking maybe if we reschedule, because I'm not
Where
sure.
we go off.
We're eating into your time and I feel bad, Lucas.
Do you have any time? Do you have any time at 1:30 UK time? 20 minutes.
That's an hour, 20 minutes. 1 hour, 20 minutes from now. Is that all right? We have a big gap at the end of the show. It's only 20 minutes, but maybe that's the best idea to do that because we're trying to get through these technical difficulties at the moment. Yeah, I think it's our problem.
Yeah, I'll send
Yeah.
you a
Same
new one.
ones. Oh, you're gonna send you one? Okay.
I'll send you one.
I think it's just a problem on our side. So maybe let's do 1:30
well, hold on.
and see.
Oh no. Sorry,
And see if we're good then.
my bad. I will send you. Yeah, I'll send you a new Google Meet. Or
Thank
not
you,
Google Meet,
Lucas. Ciao.
Technical
what a shame.
difficulties.
You hate to see it. Technology 1, ETN Boys 0. Hopefully the last loss that we'll take on stream, but we'll be getting Lucas back on later to sort it out.
Let's go through some news. We've got 10 minutes. I know we've got 20 minutes.
We've got a hell of time. I want to talk about Alex Karp and Molly O'Shea's.
Let's go. Friend of the stream,
Interview.
Molly O'Shea. Congratulations for the absolute banger. I think it's on 2.5 million or maybe even 3 million views now.
Flying into the stratosphere.
Which is
and the memes that have come off.
The memes are so good. The memes are so
funny.
good.
For those who didn't see it, Molly O'Shea, founder of Sorcery Podcast, sponsored by Brex, they do a great job at going into really long form, deep interviews with some amazing guests. Typically founders and CEOs sitting in the tech space. Recently, was meant to come on the show. Unfortunately, had to push back because she had an opportunity to move up a launch. It turns out that launch was actually an exclusive interview with Alex Karp, founder of Palantir. And it's essentially just Molly and Alex walking around the office.
You watched the interview. It's pretty good.
It's really
It's
cool.
so funny. There's a few bits in it where it's just
Some
it's just him being
controversial
such a
topics
great
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely a few controversial moments. He is quite the character. He has quite high energy. He's very we saw this when they announced their earnings. I think it was like, I can't remember when it last was, but there was like that famous clip of him. He's kind of flipping everyone off. He's in like a sort of like a Palantir boardroom, and he's like celebrating how much they smashed the earnings, and he's just having a great old time over there.
It's having a great time.
More recently as well, has been back and forth with the short sellers, and he was like openly kind of discussing with Molly about his feelings and his opinions over the individuals that are shorting Palantir. But he loves what he's doing. He's high energy, and we're starting to discover that there may be a correlation with sword ownership and how well a company does. So I'm not sure if you have the interview or maybe
I have the interview up.
from Molly. If we can maybe
Let's see if we can pull that up, and then we can go from there.
just to give our viewers a little taste of what we're discussing. But
We're up. Okay, so
how many likes did it get?
2.3k likes,
That's a lot of likes.
2,500 bookmarks, 2.1 million views. That's a banger.
Yeah, that's a certified banger.
That is a certified banger. Unfortunately, Molly couldn't join us on the show, but that is the reason, which is also quite cool. I feel like, that's quite cool that's the reason she couldn't join the show. What they cover: $5 million market cap milestone, Palantir record earnings, his new biography.
has he released a book?
Yeah. Molly was reading it.
No
she put
way.
a tweet out reading it in a London cafe.
Is that his book?
Yeah. And the rise of AIP and its impact on global enterprise, morality, value creation, and helping Americans win. Dyslexia, artistry, and Karp's leadership philosophy, the legacy of Rosita and cupcakes. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it because it's a very good interview. Again, it's just these interviews where it's like, very casual. They're just so good, and he doesn't do very many media appearances, and kind of when he does, it kind of just goes a bit nuts.
Yeah, I think he kind of times it with something.
He does, he does very well on that front. But it was just like it was a casual thing again, so it's like that's probably why he's taken that.
I think, and it's also, I think it's a good thing in terms of like what we discussed with Max at Valerian in terms of like this there needs to be, doesn't need to be, but it can help the optics of your company, especially when you're running a defense company or that has ties to a defense company like Palantir, can come across as the big, scary XYZ. But like, there's an element there where he can, Alex Karp can sit down with Molly O'Shea, and you can realize, he can also be a bit goofy as well. And he's pulling the sword out and he's doing some lunge things with the.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought he was pretty goofy anyway, but.
Yeah, true. But like, it gives him a taste of like coming across like more like a human, like when he was on TabPFN, and he was talking about how he's incredibly good at like cross country skiing, I think, and he hangs from bars a lot. Like he has like kind of like almost like world record close like hanging, time.
Yeah.
You just sort of hold a bar and you hang. And that's like a cool thing. I think like it's cool that that helps his image. And I think by proxy, it kind of helps the image of Palantir as well. I'm not saying that everyone, like the Palantir short sellers, are going to be like, "Oh, it hangs from bars. I'm longing it." Like they're not gonna switch up.
I'm changing my thesis. I'm not shorting this thing.
I think it helps, like the optics and the brand, just because, like, again, he is same with Musk, same with Jobs. Like they are the brand.
Yeah.
To like a very integrated level, and I think like. I think Jobs was this is obviously pre like internet, but his book's great, but he was very, he'd always host these like sort of quirky type meetups and gatherings where he'd do everything outside. He'd have his socks off. He'd be sat there in like really like hippie like clothing. He hasn't showered I think he showered like once every week. Like there's no very, very odd specific diet of like I think he only ate vegetables for like maybe all his life, actually. Maybe he was friend, but it was like a very particular set of certain stuff. And this is like, that's cool because it's like, oh, he's not the scary Apple guy. I mean, I know that a lot of people said that it's quite hard to work with him, but like, he's also a human being as well. Like it helps with that, not big, bad, scary CEO, but also like, kind of down to earth, but human individual.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, it takes them off that pedestal, I guess, right?
And it can be used strategically, right? Like I think when you see candidates running in the US, they'll hit like a bunch of podcasts.
Yeah.
Like when
well, I think there needs to be more of that. I guess in the UK, like I don't want to say Matt Clifford because obviously he's not in politics, but like he's one of those figures that is a little bit. I mean, obviously he works at the government and stuff, but he does a lot of appearances like that, I guess, or not that many, but he does appearances like that, and I think that's like that's great because it shows that human element to it, and I think that's really, really interesting, and I think we could bring more of that into UK politics.
Yeah, I think US is, in my very naive opinion, it's more gamified.
Yeah,
in a way, like massive budgets, massive media campaigns,
tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions,
like massive, branding. We're working on slogans, we're printing caps, we've got everyone at the rally like wearing the cap, and it's like they'll probably hire someone, think of a catchy slogan, right? Like Trump has "Make America Great Again."
But it's the social presence as well that I think they just do so well. So it's an interesting one, and therefore that's why Molly O'Shea has done an amazing job to get the interview because it's pretty rare, but also to just go absolutely viral.
Well, there's so many
nutsworthy viral. Yeah.
So
many people
and
so many memes. I'm going to pull some things up, but I'm just going to search.
Yeah, people have memed the hell out of the interview in a good way though. There are some really good ones.
Yeah, I'm just trying to let's just stay off. Yeah, there we go.
Pulling something up, nice.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about our friends over there very quickly about Airwallex. It's how you can leave outdated business banking behind. It's the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern businesses, multi-currency accounts, high-speed international transfers, corporate cards, expense management, and online payments. Guess where it is, Luke? It's all in one platform, buddy.
It's all in one.
You just get it all there in one.
All in one.
A little package there, all in one.
Yeah, all in one.
Up next as well, we have Maxime Germain. He's the founder at B-Side. They recently raised their Series A. Let me tell you a little bit about them. They were in stealth for 18 months. Very casually got to 4 million ARR and 20,000 paying customers whilst they were in stealth. They've now come out with a 20 million Series A led by EQT. The Slack founder is an angel, and they previously raised, I think it was a 10 million round that Index led. So very, very excited to talk to them. Founding team has got a great background in consumer apps, X, Snap, and Jour, a mental health app that was sold to Alan in 21. That's Maxime Germain over at B-Side. He'll be joining us in 9 minutes, so don't go anywhere if you want to see him on the stream and hear us have our conversation.
It's going to be good. I think we should talk about Plural's move over from the UK to Estonia.
Yes.
Reason being is because Sifted are obviously...
Are they moving?
Well, so they moved the domicile of the company from, I think that's the word, from the UK to Estonia. But this was done at the beginning of the year. And Sifted has framed it as something that was before, like something that was like now, considering the everything going on with the exit tax and stuff. And I just think it's like classic kind of Sifted like fear mongering, basically.
Yeah, that's a really misleading.
Yeah, but so to quote, the article basically goes, our restructure at the start of this year was about regulatory and operational efficiencies, the company said. This is purely operational, and none of Plural's partners have changed their location or plan to.
I mean, we were there the other day and they were all sat there in an IC.
Yeah.
Like they were all working there.
Yeah. They're all in the UK, which is obviously, whatever, which is great. And yeah, it's just classic kind of, moving over, like using one story to try and paint the other as something. Which is
it seems like they've
funny.
this news has happened. I mean, this decision to move happened earlier this year, you mentioned. And that's kind of like, ooh.
Well, it happened at the beginning of the year. I restructured at the start of this year.
So just so long ago. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because it kind of is that, it's like, that piece of news would fit with this piece of news. Let's just
plug them together.
It happened the other day, actually, with that headline. It was a little bit misleading. There was that company.
Yeah, we mentioned about it on the show the other day. Yeah.
Was it Vey?
Yeah, it was Vey.
Vey and Grab had invested in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Vey.
So they said Vey had invested 410 million.
Yeah.
But actually, they'd invested 60 million euros. No, $60 million probably.
Something like that.
With a pledge to invest $350 million if they hit more.
Yeah.
Which I don't think, obviously isn't misleading because, they've pledged to do it and, they have the intention of doing it, but it was only obviously if they hit certain milestones.
Which is like a standard,
Which is standard, but the headline read,
was...
Grab invests in...
it's like they lines up 410 million or something like that. It was very you skim over that, you think that they've raised 410 million.
But actually they've raised 60 million and the 350 million may or may not come.
It's like if you hit certain milestones, which could very possibly be outrageously hard and unachievable.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I mean, look, while we don't have the time at the end, let's touch on this AI race. Europe should focus on applications, says Axel Partner. It was something that came out.
Yeah, can you pull that article up?
Pulling it up now. While US tech giants spend tens of billions of dollars building AI models and data centers, Europe must focus on growing global leaders at the application level, according to Philippe Bottery. He's a partner at VC firm Axel. Basically, what he's saying in his I guess thesis, or what he's looking at, is Europe stands a chance on staying in the AI race because of the evidence of these amazing application layer startups that are basically winning in their respected kind of industries. You've got the Lovables, the Synthesias, the Granolas, the Fixes.
Yeah.
They're all winning in their respected space. And the massive chain, the massive like chasm between, OpenAI and Anthropic investing tens of billions or hundreds of billions compared to our foundational layer and model layer of the Mistrals investing in the singular billions.
Incomparable.
So it's like an order of magnitude like different.
I think.
And what do you think? Like, because this is all about the EU winning some form of the AI race.
I think it's okay to not win.
Does that
like,
mean
that area?
Yeah. Does that mean like it's like let's just kind of push it aside? Well, it's not putting it aside.
Not push it aside, right? Like I don't think we've got. There are other variables which would give like a certain area or continent like an opportunity to compete at that level, and it's like magnitude of funding is just nowhere near what like we'd require to like feed these things to get them going.
Yeah.
Two, I think like general government alignment should probably be a little more like pro risk and also like pro innovation. I think that if you look at the US or China compared to Europe, they're a lot more willing to like, let's just run at this thing. We're aware of how powerful and great it can be. Obviously, there's going to be a few little mess ups along the way. But I think Europe's more like, let's stop, let's understand this, let's understand the risks and understand the benefits, but let's make sure we drive this thing forward in like a contained environment. So it's like, I think with that mindset, you just can't compete with two other superpowers who have more funding than you, who are willing to like maybe just.
Well, I mean, there's takes that obviously OpenAI are like, that is a highly leveraged company right now. And if there is an AI bubble or there's a downturn, OpenAI is a company that probably will go pretty quick, I feel. And maybe that's a pretty rash take, but I think it's like they have something, I can't remember, they have like whatever revenue they have is in the maybe 10 to 100 billions.
Yeah, I think he was.
But they're investing like 1.5 trillion into, or like that's how much.
Yeah, and that's why they came out and they were like, there was that whole spook around like, oh, are they?
It's a bit of a mess, basically.
Are they getting a bailout potentially? Like, is the government going to fund like most of these orders that are outstanding, right? Because like the difference between their revenue and what they've sort of been pledging is like,
wildly like astronomical, and it's like a huge bet to get them to
I think it was like 900 billion or something.
Yeah.
The difference, and then everyone's saying, oh, cool, like you're privatizing the wins and you're socializing the losses, which is like face on, I think, what it does look like. But I think then Sammer and a few of the team kind of came out, was like, hey, I think it was Sammer actually, he came out and sort of, he wrote like a very long form tweet to everyone and kind of described what was happening. And he's like, look, like we wouldn't do this. It wouldn't be, the first choice to have like government subsidize this. It would be like a last resort. But even again, like it sets people a bit on edge, I think, when they hear words like last resort. Like from a copy perspective, like the connotations to that word are usually pretty bad. So to hear it, or even though Sam's coming across from like, hey guys, it's chill, don't worry about it, thumbs up, that's last resort, he's still saying those words, and the fact that he has to say them,
and therefore, so look, like we've kind of gone on a tangent, but to bring it back, basically, this partner at Axel, he quoted literally saying, some of the core innovators in in areas where AI is being disruptive are coming from Europe, says Bottery. That's a very exciting message for Europe. I think people have been too quick at discounting it just because we're not investing as much in foundational models. And it just brings this like quite refreshing take of yeah, like the application layer is where we play, and that's where we can win. I mean, we were talking about it earlier, and it's Des was obviously talking about it in saying there's so many unbelievably clever people in Europe. That's where you win. Like that is your kind of
the talent's nuts.
Yeah, that's the trajectory that we're on is winning that application layer instead of that. And it's kind of like, okay, well, invest in that. And the more you see people coming out and doing that, like the Antons of the world, the more it's just going to keep kind of running and compounding. So it's exciting. Next on the show we have Maxime,
and he's good to go straight in, I think.
Awesome.
Maxime, welcome to the European Technology Network. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
All good.
You've released some big news today. Can we maybe hear a bit more about it? Or not today, this week?
That was I think 2 days ago. We've raised a $32 million round from Index Ventures and EQT for the product that we've been building, and we, as we announced the round, came out of stealth. We operated for the past 18 months completely in stealth. We did not reveal what we are building, as we are super focused on trying to find the right customers and finding product market fit. And I'm happy to tell you more about what we're currently building.
Awesome. I want to know how the hell you stay in stealth for 18 months and you reached 20,000 customers.
Yeah, for sure. So, I feel like there is a lot of hype around tech companies and AI companies. And when you're really trying to do something that works for people, you can really just focus on the X or LinkedIn hype a lot and actually bring a lot of the wrong users into your product, because who you're going to get from those audiences are really just people who are curious about what you're building, potential investors or other founders looking at your product. But if you're trying to build a product that is not made for that cohort, you're just going to pollute yourself being out on X, on LinkedIn, and on all of these different platforms. The users we were going after were from the real economy in America. So there are people who are trades and construction workers. They're working in real estate. They are, we have priests on the platform using the product. We have tons of different use cases. These people are not on LinkedIn. They're not on X. They're nowhere there. So we went to market in a completely different way, trying to really focus on unlocking these networks first, going at it from a very different angle that was not, all the hype and the buzz we can have on the different platforms that are more, our crowd, which is very different from where we have product market fit today.
Yeah, I feel like it's obviously like super different to what everyone else is doing, right? Can you give us a breakdown of what Beside is and what you want to tell everyone in the market now you are kind of live on X, I guess?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is now. So maybe the origin story to the product is, I sold my previous company that was a mental health app to Alan, the French health insurance. We sold it for 20 million in 2021. There, I scaled our small 7-people team to 120 people. I took on the sort of like B2B expansion of that consumer product into more of a business offering. When the first really good voice to text models and the first GPT models came out, I became really obsessed with them. And so I went back as a software engineering individual contributor at Alan. And what I was specifically working on was what are the what value can we bring to therapy sessions specifically, and from conversations that people will have with their therapists, both to create value for the therapist and for their patients. And so when I was playing with those recorded conversations that I would put into a second brain, that we would prompt to extract insights, extract the emotions that people were sharing, or even the action items that the person would have to do before the next session, or even increasing how the efficiency of the therapy process for the therapist. What I realized that, we're all talking about AGI, and we're all talking about how AI is actually going to be transformative in our lives, and all the products were sort of like prompt driven, or the context that would be used would be the context of your Slack, it would be the context of your email, Notion, to sort of build this sort of new AI products and build these agents that would work on your context. But what I was obsessed with is there is quite an under-tapped value into the conversations. The conversations that people have are sort of one of the live contexts on our way to AGI that is extremely important if we see this AI as something that is going to deliver proactive value in our daily lives. And everyone has started to build note-taking apps. And, people were like, oh yeah, like if we have a good call summary and if we have a good call transcript, that in itself is useful. It is. And it's more of like, insurance that you remember your past note and something that you can share with your team. But the angle that I wanted to take is, if we are able to capture all of your conversations, if they live on the phone, if it's a live conversation, if it's a conversation happening on Zoom, on Google Meet, what are the things that we can extract from those conversations to deliver value for you? And we went super naive into that of let me just rebuild WhatsApp or Telegram AI native. What would it do if I had a daily messaging app that would be able to record all of my phone calls, answer text messages for me, where all of the conversation that I have would enter a second brain that I could prompt? And we sort of tested that value proposition. And what we've built and where we landed is, we rebuild the phone and messaging app AI first for everyone. And where we have specifically product market fit is we answer the phone for you. And that's what's currently leading, all the growth, all the revenue, and all the retention, because people just have to set us up, forward their existing number to us, and now we can pick up the phone for you and we can deliver all the rest of the value from there. And it's amazing because conversations are so rich, and there is so much you can extract from them and actions you can take on behalf of people once you have all of that context for someone, or even after for a team and for your organization.
It's so nuts to hear all this. And like when I was reading the press release, it mentioned that you guys have been in stealth for 18 months. You'd managed to get to 4 million ARR. You'd managed to get to 20,000 paying customers, all while operating under like a pseudonym name. I think it was M1 or something. Like I can't remember the specific name, but that's so fascinating to me that you guys achieved all of this in stealth. How did that work? Why as well would you want to remain in stealth? And even the GTM function, right? Like how's that working there?
Oh, you want to get into the secret operation behind? So M1 is stupid because when we started with the the sort of thesis of on our way to AGI, the live context of conversation is extremely important, and we should build the best context capture product to do that. And when we wrote into the roadmap, the first thing that we wanted to do, everyone was focused on desktop recorders and all this stuff. what frustrates me was that there was no good recorder on my phone, and all of my best conversations are actually when I'm on the go, when I'm not sitting in my computer. They're more, genuine conversation. And so M1 was just milestone one of the roadmap. We've released the first phone context capture app. So that was called M1. And what I really wanted the team to focus on is really avoid all the traps. It's not my first rodeo. I've been at it since forever. My first company, I started it when I was 15. I moved to New York when I was 20, dropped out of school, started an art company with someone from Google. We sold it after, and I've done then the draw company. And I really wanted to create a culture that is so extremely focused, not on the hype, but on really trying to create a product that people love, that is going to be retentive for them. Being in stealth, still led us to raise from top funds in a very short amount of time. We've attracted some of the best talents. The team, comes from Snap, they come from X, they come from Hugging Face, they come from some of the best companies that really know how to bridge, this sort of consumer-prosumer world, and the being in stealth, I didn't see any reason to actually be public about the company. At some point, I even considered not coming out of stealth and just keep going like that. But I feel like now it's nice to sort of like come out, build the brand, and do that. For the go-to-market motion, we work with tons of creators in the US, and we power tons of performance marketing ads on Meta, plus the creator that are making beautiful videos of our product. And then we have all these referrals, and then we grow into companies, and it's been something that we know how to do really well coming from the consumer world. And what I love is we could apply all of the consumer product learnings to build a prosumer app. So we come from the consumer world. All the GTM that worked for the consumer product ended up working for a very prosumer app, and that sort of blurs, in our in our industry, in the AI world, because the tension that would come with that is, and all the VCs in the world and absolutely everyone keeps hammering that to me of like, but why don't you verticalize the product? Why don't you build something that is just made for real estate agent, just made for construction worker? Why don't you just hammer a single vertical, grow from there, be known for that? And I think that the large language models are simply so powerful, and all the models that are coming out require you to create a daily driver. ChatGPT feels more of a consumer app than it feels like a SaaS dashboard or all these things. So having this consumer grade experience for very pro use case, I think let us capture horizontally, the world, and is giving us a shot at not limiting the ways we can take on a much larger share of the market, because we're not going to remain into real economy. We're going to expand beyond. And there is a play that I love that looks a lot more like, Notion or Figma. These are iconic companies that are built by, hero of mine, where I absolutely love these products. And, having a chance of creating something so horizontal that works for your personal life, professional life, it would simply be, the best outcome for this project.
That's cool. I want to ask a little bit about where you see the physical side of creating kind of these AI products for consumers. Obviously, that you've created the app, and that's like native for the phone. Where do you see it kind of going in the next kind of 10, maybe 15, 20 years, whatever, when, someone will crack it, and maybe it's, the OpenAI acquisition that happened, 4 to 5 months ago, with Johnny Ives.
Yeah.
Where do you see that happening? And how do you guys find yourselves in that? And do you think, are you thinking about it, or are you just kind of heads down building for the phone? Because that will be potentially quite a massive change if that were to happen, and something really hits kind of product market fit in the physical AI kind of consumer space.
Yeah, and that's such a good question. I keep thinking about that a lot, because at the end of the day, what we're saying here is that being the one device or the one product that has access to all the context live is actually what's going to make one company win. And there are many ways to go at it. And the more unique the data you're able to get into the context of your AI, potentially the more powerful you become. And so that's why we started with something that is not that easy. Building phone at scale. We currently handle 2.5 million phone calls a month. Building the infrastructure that powers that is a very hard feat. And so the way we were thinking about it is that there's going to be unique data. The phone data is quite unique, because you can't capture audio from a phone call conversation on iOS. You might be able to do it on Android, I'm not even sure. We've expanded. So we also record live conversation, meaning if I want to set up B-side and record the conversation live right now, it works. On macOS, we've built, a desktop recorder that kickstarts when you have a Google Meet started, when you have a Zoom call starting. And so all the context is something that matters to us. What I think is going to happen is that, and that's something that I really love, is we either going to have Apple that's going to wake up and understand the power of context and actually rebuild Siri in a way that's going to be absolutely amazing. The thing is they're going to have to build for billions of daily active users. They're never going to get into the use case that we have, where we're actually powering, your team. We have collaboration with your team. We're plugged into your tools, and we're orchestrating all these different things. And Apple is never going to go that deep. What's more interesting is if OpenAI actually cracks a device and cracks an OS that becomes, the daily driver of the world, because there is a chance that it's something. But it's something I'm just super excited by. I can't wait to see that device. I can't wait to see what it does. I do think that to nail things in perfect details, and from what we observe, there's always going to be a place for the product we're building. The product is kind of invisible in some way, because if you just take the AI layer and you remove the interface, that's the part that needs to work pretty well. The main product we have doesn't have an interface. It's us answering the phone while your phone is just off. And this is the main value that people are paying for. So there is also something about this no interface value delivered for people that is just so cool. And yeah, I'm so excited that I'm playing at that moment of history. It's just so fucking cool.
I love it. I love it. Talk about founder market fit.
Yeah, I'm just getting really cool artistic vibes. Can we ask? So you've raised this money. What's the plan with the cash? Is it expansion plans? Is it product development? Is it all the above?
Yeah. So it's twofold. One, what we learn is that our users love to collaborate in teams on their context. And so the one thing we have to do is build a product that can be used by their teams, meaning we have to expand on all the platforms. We have to build for iOS, we have to build for Android, we have to build for macOS, we have to build for Windows, and we're building all of these platforms. So we had to grow the team to actually capture all the context, build all platforms. And then the second thing is from there is a bit of a difference between the single player mode of the product and it growing into teams. The requirement from our users, when we're trying to go from like the 1 to 5 seats that we cover really well now to like 10 plus, 20 plus seats companies, there are very specific things that are, made to collaborate on the context or take action on your behalf that we're going after. And that requires a really good expansion. Right now, the money is so building all the platforms and land and expand strategy. How do we go from we capture one person in a company and we expand into the entire company? It's going to be product-led growth, but not only. And that's going to be the beauty of the product expansion now. That's what I want to demonstrate, in the coming 12 months and what we're super excited about.
How do you? I know we're kind of running out of time. I just kind of burning question. How do you think about like founder product growth and the founder function in growth compared to running like meta ads and stuff? And it's kind of, I guess, like faceless. Where do you see that? Or do you see Beside as this kind of, I guess, faceless startup where you're not driving the growth, or what do you think? Or do you think if you were to try and drive that growth, it would 10x what you guys can do and the people that you can reach?
I think the reason why I didn't start by doing it was that the initial product market fit are not exactly people like me directly. Even though I come from a small town in Le Mans, all of my family work in the same kind of field that my users does, my parents as well, and I've been always so inspired by the stories that I've had around me, and building a product that feels and hit home is really, really fucking cool. And I felt that the sort of audience that I can capture as a founder is something that works better when we go on desktop, right? I'm going to have a better market fit as a founder when we're trying to go after the desktop crowd, the knowledge workers. And I think that's also why we came out of stealth. We have the macOS product that we've released. That's an absolute banger. And that's something that I want people to try and that we're going to push, because the context of conversation and the mission we're after is super horizontal. So now is the right time for me to be out. And also me being out helped for... So the one thing that happened after the launch, that my calendar is booked as hell. All the users in the world have booked my calendars for the next 2 weeks, and all the VCs in the world as well are trying to book my calendar. But I've seen, and yesterday, just after the launch, I took 7 phone calls with users, and I just realized that you can't be faceless. People actually want to put a face on the product way more than I realized. And all the calls that I did in the day of people wanting to set up the product for themselves, even though you can just try it for free and do this stuff, led me to realize that no matter who the users are, the founder story is extremely important. Putting a face on the product is extremely important. So yeah, I'm going to do more of it in the coming months.
Well, we're excited to see you on X more.
We have to have you back on, man. Like, can we just check in like a month or something?
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
For sure. Would love to come back. I have so many things to say. I've been in stealth for 18 months. I'm boiling inside. There's so much I want to say. There's so much more. We should do it again.
Dude,
Okay,
so
good.
sick. We'll ping you. We'll set this up again next month because we have to run it back. This has been really cool.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Good to be with you guys.
So good to meet you, dude.
Cheers, Maxime. Have a good one.
You just leave?
Yeah, just
See you guys. Bye.
see you in a bit.
Peace. What a legend.
What a
That is so
legend.
sick.
That's so cool.
It's so good as well, right? Like 18 months, 20,000 paying customers.
Yeah, I forgot to
4
ask.
million ARR.
His retention is nuts. Like the app's retention is nuts. So half of the users open the app 14 times a day, 6 days a week. That's mental. That's like product market fit. Like
It's like people on Instagram.
wait, that is
social media
Instagram. He's already built like Instagram level retention. With I feel like such a it's obviously like a very native product because you can use it in your life so much. It's fascinating. It's fascinating, and I think it might be. You know, he mentioned that he's kind of been, or he's been in the art world, and you know, he has that artistic roots, and I genuinely feel like that is like, you know, who are we talking about? About building companies is like is an artistic endeavor, right? Who are we talking?
Yeah, who was that with?
Partner at 0.9, is that right?
Yeah, it was with Ricardo.
And he like fits it. Maxime fits it to a T.
Yeah,
so perfect.
Well, he just looks like an awesome artist who's grown up like selling amazing art in New York
and like just tinkering with like just a load of cool things, understanding human behavior, understanding what goes right and what's wrong, and you know, you can see it even like with the conversation earlier at the beginning with Andre. He was saying like when we back second time founders, like the growth is just like so much quicker. The reason being is because you've got they just understand the growth loops. Like that's it. They just get it right. And it's clear with him. You know, he built he's built some incredible companies before, had an exit before. He understands, and he's built in consumer. He just gets the game. Seriously bullish on the company.
Yeah,
really
that
cool.
was an awesome chat. I really want to have him back on.
Yeah,
because that energy is just it's exactly what we need.
Agree. Just quick word on Airwallex. Leave outdated business banking behind. The all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business. Multi-currency accounts, high-speed international transfers, corporate cards, expense management, and online payments, all in one platform. Let's go to airwallex.com.
Love to hear it. Up next, Saraj, co-founder at Prior Labs. They're going to be breaking down what Prior Labs is. They recently released a TabPFN 2.5. Again, he's going to give his take on this. They're an incredibly cracked team. A couple PhDs going on
Tabular foundational model for spreadsheets, basically. That's what TabPFN is.
There we go. Luke's just
so they just like sit on top of models and data within spreadsheets, and they're kind of like a co-pilot for that.
Well, I'm going to ask him to explain it to me
like I'm 10,
just so
nice.
I can just fully get in there and understand it, because like it's very similar to some of the stuff. Like, you know, they've run this through. They apparently have like SOTA performance based off the benchmark that they've been using, which is like pretty big thing. This is what we discussed with who was it? The guy who was doing, was it Sorcery? The video generation?
No, Wonder.
No, that was another one.
Sorcery is Molly O'Shea's podcast.
No, but yeah, I know, but there was another. We had him on. I can't remember. We'll have to check it out. But like, again, achieving SOTA performance on benchmarks, it is a big thing. It's a cool thing.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
but I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was
I think it was Sorcery.
I think it might have been Sorcery.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You know.
Say what?
But anyway, they're coming on. It's going to be cool. They're backed by Bolton Capital, like Landscape Labs, XTX Ventures, and AI leaders from Google DeepMind and Hugging Face.
Interesting. Let's just jump in quickly to some 11 Labs news. Hoping we can get this up. Mr. Matthew McConaughey has been part of the 11 Labs story since 2023 as an early supporter and investor. Today, he became a customer. Matthew McConaughey's newsletter, Lyrics of Living, is expanding with a Spanish language version powered by 11 Labs. Driving growth through A-list celebrities is a cool thing. Congrats.
They signed that
11 Labs team.
Who's the guy who does like Batman's butler?
The Joe, no,
not
Robin.
Not his arch nemesis.
What?
His butler, the guy. What's his name?
God, you really.
I'm blanking out. I'm forgetting his name, but it's Batman's like butler guy, and the Michael Caine. Michael Caine, I'm pretty sure.
Alfred,
yeah. Alfred is like the fictional character.
Yeah.
But like the guy who plays Alfred
Yeah.
is Michael Caine, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. I get it.
Let me just triple check.
I feel like they could have done like some cool launch video type thing for this.
Yeah, he is Michael Caine.
Lyrics of Living.
They did a cool Michael Caine one. They did like a.
Did they? Maybe they did. We haven't seen it because they've obviously, they've got a bit of graphic there. Matthew McConaughey kind of locked
little
in.
tweet thread on him. Matthew.
He's locked in.
He's like a serial investor as well. He had
so he's an investor.
He had a massive stake in something really crazy.
Here we go.
It's in the headlines the other day.
No, it's not going to work. I think it's just the article.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he's been part of the 11 Labs story for years as an investor, early supporter, and now as a creator, which is cool. I'm proud to share that I've been an investor in 11 Labs for several years now, said Matthew McConaughey. It's been amazing to see the growth from those early days to where the company and the technology is now. What's remained constant is the extraordinary storytelling capabilities and creative potential that 11 Labs unlocks. Something that stood out from me from the start that speaks to me as a professional storyteller. They should do some form of video with him, and they will, I'm sure. And
he is like really good at telling stories. I listened to the audiobook of his.
Oh yeah, he's wicked at doing
biography.
That, yeah.
I think. Where he keeps saying like green light in it.
Yeah. Are we back to
that was good.
Screen?
Let me just tell you about Fora, the workspaces to make it everyday extraordinary. It's premium, flexible workspaces that drive performance, productivity, well-being. You want to be surrounded by greatness, rub shoulders with some of the world's most exciting companies. Go to Fora and do luxury office spaces, and damn, are they good?
Damn, are they good? Okay, I think. Are we good?
We are welcoming in
we have Suraj
our
on?
next guest, Suraj, co-founder of Prior Labs. How are we?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear us?
Perfect. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Welcome to the European Technology Network. How's your day going?
Yeah, thanks. Good. I'm actually in London today, and I just got off a chat with James, and he was like, I should give a shout out to James. And
oh no way, James Wise at Bonderson?
James Wise. Yeah.
Well,
James
look,
Wise.
we've actually got James Wise's book here, Startup Century. Just want to show that.
Yeah, I have it too, actually.
You've got a copy yourself.
Of course, he had to do.
Is your copy signed?
No, maybe not.
Oh, well,
I think you've got a special edition.
Because they backed you. Did they lead the round? The 9 million.
They led the round.
Yeah.
Awesome.
James is a cool guy.
James is an absolute legend. Obviously, from my days at Convergence is when I first met James, and then has been, I guess, like a mentor and a guider ever since, which I'm incredibly grateful for. So, yes, please tell him I say hello. Moving on, Prior Labs. There was some amazing news announced. I think it was towards the end of last week. Which is very exciting. Really want to get into that. But maybe before we do that, could you tell us a bit more about yourself and Prior Labs in general as a company and what the story's been like so far?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Suraj. I'm one of the co-founders of Prior Labs. Based in Berlin, usually. I've got a bit of an international background. So I grew up between Canada, India, a bit in the UK, lived a bit of everywhere, studied finance and comp sci at McGill University. And then actually started my career in banking. So started my career in tech M&A with RBC in Toronto, and then moved into building their venture capital fund with them. That is now, I think, like $1.5 billion. But at the time, it was part of this private equity group, venture capital group, and innovation that we scaled from 20 to 450 people. Left that, stayed a couple of years in finance, and then left that to build companies. So before Prior Labs, I tried my hand at a Kubernetes cloud company. But 2023 was like 7 years too late for that. So it was a very short stint, stopped that, and then actually met my current co-founders who were at the time doing research in tabular foundation models. And we're going to get into that in a second. One of them specifically called TabPFN. One of them is a professor of machine learning, has been for about 12 years, Frank Hutter, and my other co-founder, Noah, who is the CTO of the company. He was doing his MD, PhD at a hospital in Germany. And he was working with a lot of tabular data and like trying to conduct machine learning. You know, when we think of machine learning now, we think of NLPs, we think of OpenAI and ChatGPT, but like it's been existing for so many years, and the traditional machine learning has always been around like structured data, right? How do you make predictions on data? How do you do statistical analysis? And he was just really frustrated with the methods that exist because they have been the same for about the last 20 years. And the idea was to bring a foundation model approach to structured data And I was coming to it from the lens of looking at, a lot of financial services data. I was investing in companies like Sardine, a company called Flowcast, which like just builds a model for structured data for one use case. And on that use case, they're able to generate like 6-7 figure contracts. And so when you talk about building a model that can replace these hundreds of use cases and thousands of use cases and can just like serve all of them with one model, like the mind was just blown away. And that was kind of the genesis of us starting Prior Labs together. It feels like it's been 5 years, but that was only last year. And it's been a fun journey since then.
That's awesome. You love to hear it. When we were reading the press release around what you guys were announcing, the TabPFN 2.5, there's parts in there that kind of mentioned that this is in this sort of like accelerated realm that we're seeing in the development of general AI across like a number of use cases. A lot of it isn't as focused in this tabular data world. And I think I was reading something around where it's actually quite hard to do for like the AI to sort of like be trained or learn across like cellular data. Why? And it was something around that. It was the overlooked space, right? But like when we look at where you'd come across this type of like data sets, it's in everything, like finances all the way to like medicine. Like why is that overlooked if it's such a valuable unlock?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think on one hand, you can say it hasn't been overlooked because that's what traditional machine learning has focused on for a really long time. But I think with LLMs, there's a couple of reasons. One, there's just not enough high quality tabular data that's available in the market. So, if you think about these LLMs, they've been pre-trained of, hundreds and millions of data points, and they just don't exist in the tabular domain. I think there's like 50,000 good quality data sets that you can find. You can find a lot of tabular data like on Wikipedia, right? Like which football player won FIFA World Player of the Year for the last like 20 years, but that's not really quality data that you can make predictions with of like who's going to be the next one to win it next year. For that, you need like a good amount of data, and those companies tend to keep private to themselves. And the second is architectures. So LLMs have this like sequential architecture, which are just not built for tabular data. For tabular data, you need to like understand the relationships between, let's say, if you look at an Excel file between like cell B2 and cell, AZ 5443, and how do these relate to each other? And LLMs just can't do that. They have a different way of reading a table, and that can take a really, really long time. So we took like the transformer technology, which is what powers these LLMs, and we trained that with synthetically generated tabular data. So we actually like came up with a representation of what real world tabular data looks like. We synthetically generated those data sets, and then we trained a model on those data sets. So with that, the model actually learns how to predict on any data that it's never seen before. And that's what allows it to basically bring that LLM-like capabilities towards tabular data.
And that is essentially, that's the TabPFN 2.5 release, like this pre-trained model.
That's actually TabPFN in its core. We've got, this is 2.5. So that was TabPFN. There was TabPFN v1, which was in 2023. Then there was TabPFN v2. That was our big release this year, which was part of the Nature journal. If you think that was a pretty big release, and that was kind of where we really established this as the foundation model. Since then, we've actually already had like 2.5 million downloads. We have a lot of GitHub stars. The model's used across thousands of use cases across every industry, right? So it's used in finance, it's used in healthcare, it's used in industrials, in tech, and we have an open source approach because it's a completely new way of working for data scientists. So they're used to kind of training a model for every use case. So if I want to predict, okay, what is Luke going to default on his credit card in the next month? I need to build a model that's going to be focused on just predicting that use case. If I want to predict, are you going to be able to afford the house that you want to buy? Then I need to build a model that's only focused on that prediction. If I want to predict what is the transaction that you just made, I need to build a model that's focused on that. So large companies, whether it's pharma, banking, energy, they have hundreds, if not thousands of models in production at any given time across all these different use cases. What a foundation model promises in the tabular domain is one model that can serve all of these use cases. So it has like the potential to replace you can imagine the amount of overhead and model management time that these teams spend on. So there's also this like adoption curve that you need to cross to get these data scientists to start using the model. So that's what we've been focused on for the whole year.
Interesting.
And 2.5 is kind of, sorry, just to finish that because I realized I didn't get there. 2.5 is kind of scaling that up to the next level. So with 2.5, we've kind of established ourselves as the leader in the industry benchmarks. It's called Tab Arena. We just announced it today. Actually, it's up to 100,000 data points. We are the model, and we win 100% of the time against previous methods that have been trained for 4+ hours. And our model can do that in a matter of seconds.
Wow, that's mad. Yes, I want to zoom out, right? I want to see your plans for like the future in terms of work. What happens to like an associate, I guess, who is working very closely within these data sets and predicting whatever industry they're working in? You mentioned the kind of horizontal nature of what you're working on. Where do you see that kind of going in the kind of near future? It seems like it's very close to being pretty, general and very, I guess, risky in terms of where that role goes within companies.
Yeah, it's a good question. So, I mean, we're actively building a community of data scientists, right? That we've focused on that. We have like a Discord community. We do events, and we want them to use our models. So we can enhance the data scientist workflow today. Instead of them having to spend time, first they have to choose a model. So they start with a prediction problem. Then they say, oh, what is the model I'm going to train that can solve this prediction problem? Then they have to like fine tune that model, and then they train it. That could take hours, days, weeks. And then they put that model into production. We're telling them, you put the data into the model and you get the predictions out in seconds without you having to spend all of that time. So you can focus on like much more higher context problems and things where your time is much more valuable. And I think that works with one set of data scientists, and with another set of data scientists, there's a bit of like hesitation, being like, no, this model is not going to replace me. And I think that's where there's also like more higher value problems that we can continue to focus on. And we have other tools and extensions that you can build in. So for example, you want to explain the results of the model. We help data scientists do that. We help data scientists get embedding, like tabular embeddings out of a model that they can then, input into other models that they might be building, for example. So yeah, it's kind of like a community-driven approach that we're taking, and we're trying to work with them so that they can focus on better problems.
That's cool. Can I ask, you mentioned within that, and I think it was in the article as well, there was like a slow to performance for Tab PFN 2.5. Can you because when I was at Convergence, we went through browser-based agent benchmarking tests, but I was quite obviously not a machine learning engineer. I was in the GTM function, so I kind of rarely would sit around when that was happening, and it would be more like, how do we get this thing to go viral on X, right? But that benchmarking process, can you walk us through like what that looks like? Like, is it a certain set of tasks that the model or whatever you're using has to complete to a certain level degree of accuracy in a certain amount of time? And like, are you publicly competing with other model providers at the same time?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there are two types of benchmarking we did. One is a public benchmark that is like independently maintained by the academic community. It's called Tab Arena. And that's the one where we just published today, where we are actually the leading model on Tab Arena now. And the second one is an internal benchmark that, of course, we have. And that is on a curated sets of data sets that we have collected over time, where we show good performance. And I think it's important to continue to show both, right? Because there's an academic excellence that you want to show, but then also we have access to data sets that we've spent time collecting, and that's kind of the internal benchmark that we also do for the models. And to answer the other part of your question, the benchmark just consists of data sets, and the tasks are classification and regression tasks. So there are statistical tasks that you're talking about, and looking at performance across a variety of data sets where you have both classification and regression tasks for the model to do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's funny, like I just wanted to understand like what those tests look like. Because I think when we did ours, it was like, can it pass this captcha? Can it solve this puzzle? Can it drag a slider on its own? which is obviously like vastly different to what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting because like one thing that is worth calling out is a lot of times these data sets could be incomplete, right? So, for example, our model can deal really well with missing values. Sometimes you have a bunch of data, but you just miss some things, and those are things that data scientists spend a lot of their time on in trying to, impute these values. They, come up with equations that can like fill these values in, or maybe they add some columns that might be missing by making some, calculations, and our model can actually do that really well, which traditional machine learning methods just can't do because it's a foundation model that has been pre-trained. So it can just generate those missing values that are missing in the table with really, really high accuracy. And yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to compare to, let me say, on that with like just general models without having a data scientist actually come in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry,
No, go.
I have another. From a GTM standpoint, like one, how big is the team today, and how are you like already deploying this commercially, and how do you deploy this commercially as well, right? Do you sell? Yeah, I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah, I can go into that. Yeah, so the team today, the team is we have I think I want to say almost 20 people now. We have new people joining every week, so I'm losing track of how many people we actually have. And yeah, a lot of like ML and AI talent that we've been able to bring on board, and the GTM is just now starting to grow. So it's me at the moment. We have a chief of staff. I've got a founder associate, and now growing that a bit more with 3 new roles that I've just put out. The motion has been completely inbound, right, so far, and we are commercializing. So we have the API, but then we have the model license, and we follow the foundation model approach. Like Robin Rombach is one of our angels who helped us a lot on this. He founded Black Forest Labs, and we do commercial licenses for actually pushing the model into production at those companies, and that we charge on like a base fee plus like a variable fee basis, depending upon the use case that it's solving. Because yeah, if you think about like incremental performance improvements on, let's say, being able to approve more mortgage applications, that can, like, even small percentage increases can mean a really, really big impact at these large companies, right? So that's pretty important. We're working with banks. We just announced today this diagnostics company that we're working with that's in the healthcare domain. We're helping them build a platform that's actually going to be able to detect like lung diseases and earlier detection of lung diseases that's going to lead to better patient outcomes. We're working with Hitachi in railway infrastructure. So being able to detect anomalies on rail tracks so that you can actually know when you need to do maintenance on those tracks and when you need to send someone out there. And we've got a lot more use cases that we're going to be announcing over the next few weeks. Pretty exciting.
Yeah,
That's so awesome.
That's so awesome. I think. How do you manage that? Obviously, you mentioned that you're kind of losing track of the people that actually you're bringing into the company, but like how do you stay, I guess, focused? Is it obviously like a ton of like context switching on your side? And we actually just we spoke to Maxine, who's building Beside, and he was saying, a lot of VCs and a lot of other founders are saying, why are you not just focusing on like one vertical and cracking that? I guess you're kind of taking a similar approach. Obviously, it's a very different company. How do you kind of work on that?
Yeah, maybe firstly, I'm not really losing track of who's joining. I think I'm just losing track of the total number of people.
For the record,
I have my mind and everyone who's joining. But on the on that point, the horizontal point, one of the things, so we have these automation emails that go out to our users, and they book these feedback calls. My calendar link goes in there, to have these calls with them. And I get on these calls like 3-4 times a day with different users, and someone's telling me about how they're using TabPFN for like material discovery in chemistry. And someone else is telling me how they're using TabPFN for figuring out what is the steel grade strength of this oil pipeline in Midwest in the US. And someone else is telling me how they're using it to trade on the energy markets. And it's like super exciting to hear all of these different use cases. And of course you find like where value is being driven and you want to push towards that. And we have like outbound triggers where we know there's a lot of value in something. We like continue to push in that direction. And it's like an iterative process on that. But one of the best parts about our model is that it can be used across all these different industries. So by verticalizing it and only offering it to one space, we lose out on that adoption, right, that can happen on this like mass level across the globe. And we want to continue to push on that. So that was a long answer, but what I'm trying to say is that we have we have a broad applicability, and so it makes perfect sense to continue to push as a horizontal product. And it also makes sense to verticalize on specific like commercial domains, which we are doing, right? You can even see on our website, like what are we trying to focus on? But we push on all of those at the same time.
I guess it also like your job doesn't necessarily change when someone else is using it in a different use case. And so
the data scientist. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it just adds to the excitement that other people are using it. Not like, oh my god, that's like another thing that I have to kind of go and like look into and so.
Yeah, exactly. And like the data scientist workflow is pretty similar across different domains. Like there are specific nuances, and we can make those nuances by adding this extension, for a specific marketing domain, because they look at that extension differently. And when we have enough people asking for that, we just add that into the product, right? To make it better for that. But the data scientist workflow is pretty similar across the different domains.
Yeah, definitely.
That's so cool. That's such a crazy, such a different company compared to the other ones that we've had on. I'm not sure if we're fresh out of time.
Yeah, I think we are.
We are slightly over. We'll have to call it there, but thank you so much for coming on. We'd love to stay up to date. Like this early days must be super exciting for you guys as you're discovering more use cases, and I guess just loads of stuff just popping up out of nowhere. So we'd love to have you back on.
Yeah, no, thanks guys. Appreciate it. It is super exciting. We've got like 2 big things coming out soon as well. So
cool.
Hopefully there'll be more releases to talk about pretty soon.
Okay,
good
nice.
stuff.
We'll have you back on
chat
then.
All right.
Great.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Thanks.
mate. All the best. Kind of refreshing to hear, we've had a couple of them today. These horizontally applied companies. I don't know. It's always such a hard thing to do / get right, and they're always advised against doing it as well.
It's a way different way of building a company.
Because it's not as easy as go into this industry, talk to this person, learn their pain points, build a product around pain.
So when we had the Lagora episode, and we talked to the guys, the other guys that were building in law, Vescence. They obviously are highly verticalized. They're living in a lawyer's office. And that is just a way different. They're literally sitting next to someone working, an associate or whatever, or maybe a partner, and they're looking at their workflow and they go, okay, that's
I think they were solving
but it's the applicable nature, right? So it's maybe they do start to Actually, I think I asked this question. This seems quite applicable to a lot of other similar jobs with similar-ish workflows, and they were like, no, we're not. We're not going to horizontal. We're not going to spread too thin. We're going to stick in our lane essentially. Whereas, these companies, they make it part of their kind of function to just be everywhere. Which is cool, and it's the same product that they're building. But they're just but then other people are coming to them from, different walks of life and industries and stuff. So it's not in part them applying that. It's just they're building and people are coming to them.
Yeah, when he says they're coming to them as well, I think a lot of it at the start, especially for a horizontally placed product, is literally building something, whatever it is at first, and with the idea that this is horizontally placed. Same thing we did at Convergence. It was what's the use case? It's everyone can use it. But that's it's hard to market that, and it's hard to figure out.
GTM super difficult.
Yeah, it was bare hard. It was super hard. And because you can't build case studies, you can't focus on you can't brand it around a particular department. It makes it
copy is
hard.
Different. The
copy is different.
Yeah.
Pain's different. Seniority is different. There's so many variables that can impact how well you can design something like that, but and take it to market. But what we found was we'd build the thing, the browse-based agent, and then we would let people in from the wait list and then sit down with them and understand how they were using it, where they were using it, what their role was, just a proper consumer sided design partner conversation.
Yeah.
Which really helped narrow the scope, which is super helpful. But it's really hard. It's really, really hard because you kind of there's an element of people don't know what they want until you create it in a way. But there's also an element of like, I need to be steered by the customer and like understand and refine what I'm building to
Yeah, I
So
mean,
like-
obviously, like, but I'm trying to make comparisons between, Beside and what we just listened to, and it's just kind of like, obviously very, very different companies, but obviously they're taking very different approaches, but on this like horizontal level of building a company, and yeah, it's just it's more of like there's less like focus to it, so it's more kind of like you're kind of just building for like the ether, I guess, and just putting things out there and it gravitates towards you. So really interesting. We've had less companies like that on the show, and I think we'll have more, which is cool. I wanted to dive deeper on, or just show everyone this new thing, Guillermo Floor. I'm opening a private WhatsApp channel with top tier founders and investors worldwide. It has several channels, launches, fundraising, and growth. People in the group, top angels and investors worldwide, cracked founders, building for the future. Sounds like something you'd like to participate and build on. Yes, comment founder. Very kind of viral, growth loopy.
How many?
And it did very well. It's on 443,000 views.
Kind of like a LinkedIn style.
I talked to him. Yeah, very LinkedIn. He put it on LinkedIn as well, and I think it went bananas too. It's I quote tweeted it and was like, so is WhatsApp like the game now? Like that's, loads of people are going to be starting these WhatsApp communities, which are already a thing, but this has clearly gone very well. And Guillermo's grown his audience, like very niche audience, but very loyal and really good. And it's growing pretty quickly as well, which is cool.
Maybe we should.
I was speaking to him yesterday.
Is he letting us in there?
He's going to let us in.
Let's go.
We may be having an ETN little chat in the community as well.
Oh,
cool.
like a little channel.
Channel, ETN channel. Send us your news, send us your stuff, and that could be cool.
Oh yeah, we'd love to hear that. Well, let's get on top of that.
And then just quickly as well, certified bangers. Have you seen this new account, Bangers?
Yeah. So is this owned by X? Have they set this up?
I have no idea, but they've done 13 posts and have got 60,000 followers. They're followed by creators. They're following creators by X.
Pull that up. The account.
It's pulled up. So we're testing something new, certified bangers. We want to recognize the very best posts that move the timeline, ranked by authentic interactions. If your post is featured, you will get a certified banger on your profile for the month.
Yeah, this is X.
Here are the top 5 bangers for October. Is this Nikita Beers doing?
Yeah.
1.7 million views.
So is it screenshots of
So like this guy, for
the
example,
tweets?
Mustafa comes in, how mathematician sees the world.
I saw this.
Wicked
this was
post.
a bit of a banger. To be
Obviously,
fair.
wicked post. 200 million views. Mustafa has the banger on his.
Wait, it was two. Oh wow, that's a lot of. That's insane. That had 71,000 likes. That might be the most. Actually, no.
It's not really the most liked, but.
There's
some funny.
The AI girlfriend one.
Yeah.
You see that one? That was so good. When your
Yeah.
AI girlfriend.
So good. I like this. I really like this. It's good. Good idea. Very good
No,
idea.
it's so good. It came
So
out
clever.
when I think we discussed it on the show actually
We
a
can
few
go
weeks back
off the screen now.
when he mentioned Nikita mentioned that I think someone, just a random person, had replied to the tweet like, "Hey, can we bring like some sort of way to get credited for a banger into like just day-to-day tweeting? Like if you could have like an accolade or a badge where it's like had 1 million impressions at one point on a tweet, you get a badge for that, or like had 1,000 replies on a tweet or something like that, and kind of gamify it in a way, because it's a good way to incentivize posting. Again, it's not a monetization strategy.
Yeah.
It's just like people will do it for the sake of the accolade because it's a status symbol.
Yeah.
So you're kind of gamifying.
Well, I mean,
In the same place that it's nice to have a Rolex in public, it's a status symbol. Maybe it's nice to have a certified banger badge on.
well,
your
now
Twitter.
they've kind of reduced, or they've scrapped the creator payouts.
Have they scrapped it?
I feel like there was some kickback that they've reduced them at least. and maybe this is like a thing to kind of get like, people rallying.
It makes sense. Instead of
Around
like
it.
just paying them money, I feel like whenever it kind of
I would definitely
corrupts it
prefer
a little bit.
Well, it's kind of like for the creator economy. We were talking about this maybe really early in the shows, maybe second show. But we were saying that for like a YouTube video, to create a really good YouTube video, you have to, there's a barrier to entry there, right? Whereas for an X post, you're writing on you're just writing a banging X post, and it goes very, it goes viral, and therefore you might get rewarded for that financially. And does that, is that good? So this is a nice way to gamify it, as you say, but it's basically just a ploy.
Gets me pumped. I'm looking for one of those badges, man. I need to up my. I mean, I am like tweeting into a brick wall right now because I only have like 500 followers. So going to be tough to get that certified banger, but definitely on my to-do list. Definitely want to. It's like a Rolex, but on X.
Yeah.
I want the.
You want the X Rolex?
I want the Patek on X. A little Patek on my
100%.
Account.
Quick word from our sponsor. Airwallex, leave outdated business banking behind. The all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business, multi-currency accounts, high-speed international transfers, corporate cards, expense management, and online payments, all on one platform. Go to airwallex.com. They are killing it over there. Next on the show,
I'm just getting word live that we're still having problems with the video link for Mr. Lucas Ziegler, which is unfortunate. It's we're still having technical difficulties. We're not sure what's going on with them. It was okay for Saraj and Maxime, so maybe it's something on his end, but unfortunately that's going to prohibit him.
That's weird.
Joining the show.
So we're not going to try. That's that.
I think they are trying, and it's not working.
Weird.
Unfortunate. We can still
very, very strange.
see.
Let me just try and send him these through DM. He's waiting in the lobby.
No, I think he tried, and the video was still not working for him. Which is unfortunate. But while we are waiting for that, let me tell you about our friends over at ACI.dev. It's the open source middleware to control, govern, and observe AI access to your tools and data. Everyone's favorite tool to do that, ACI.dev. You'd love to see them win.
He's just reconnecting, seeing if it's going to work.
This is for Mr. Lucas Ziegler.
Pretty weird. Pretty weird.
I mean, maybe we could see if he can do it from his phone. If it's problems with...
He said, let me reconnect.
Desktop.
He's currently reconnecting. Yeah, maybe it's just a problem with his settings on his desktop.
Must be, right? If we had...
Well, we had everyone else join pretty well, so I don't really know.
Yeah. It's
very weird.
Well, hey, look, we got time. I want to do it again. I want to tell you about our friends over at Airwallex. Luke, what you got to do? You got to leave our data business banking behind. Multi-currency accounts, high-speed international transfers, corporate card, expense management, and online payments. And the best part of it all, it's all in one platform, my friends. You can just get all of that in one platform. Go to Airwallex today. They are also giving out some really nice bucket hats. Let's just change this to black to mark the loss of one of our guests.
That's super funny. Okay, I think we're gonna have to call it a day because he is not joining. Unfortunately, it's not working, which is very weird. Sad times. Lucas Ziegler, we're gonna have to have you back on. Oh, hey,
hello, Lucas. We might be having some difficulties still, which is just not what we want to hear. We may have to schedule this for another day.
Sadly, couldn't get Lucas on. We'll have him on another time. And yeah, thanks for joining. We will see you next week.
We'll run it back.
Slush next week. We love you loads. Bye.
Oh yeah, Slush as well.